What it is, my antenna, Peace and Grease here, bringing you an alert, a notification, and very important information here. Listen, guys, I apologize for the clickbait ahead of time, but I needed to get your attention. I need you to pay attention in this video. Listen, if you guys need Oxium and you farm the mission Galatea on Neptune, get that Oxium now if you need it, guys. I cannot stress how important this is. There is a patch coming that's already hit PC that is going to effectively render Galatea completely and totally pointless for farming Oxium. Now, Galatea is arguably the best location to farm Oxium currently. However, PC recently got hit with a patch, as I said, that has made that location pointless. Now, this was actually brought to my attention by one of my viewers, Zero Out. Thank you very much for pointing this out. A little bit of research, I found out exactly what is going on. So what is this patch, and what does it have to do with Galatea and farming Oxium? So, all right, for first and foremost, let's get through some background information really quickly here. Now, listen, if you guys haven't checked out my how-to, my WDIF, my how to Oxium bid, check that out now because there's information that I'm not going to cover here. It's a really short video, but it does give you some really good tips and tricks for farming Oxium, and you definitely, if you need Oxium, get it now, my Tenno. But moving on to the background. So what you would do typically, you would go to Neptune, the mission Galatea, which is a capture mission. You would go in, you would find the capture target, and you would down them and leave them squirming and writhing around on the ground while you ran around the map killing enemies. Now, a lot of newer players have hit me up recently and said, well, yo, Peace, why aren't you just capturing the target instead of just leaving them lying and writhing around on the ground? Well, the reason why is because this was an attempt by players to actually fix the mission that DE wasn't bothered to fix. Meaning, the split second that you captured the target, the entire map would become a ghost town. I mean, poof, all enemies gone. They would stop spawning. They would disappear. The entire literal map would become a ghost town. Birds flying overhead, occasional light breeze, crickets clicking in the background, light rumbling of a coming storm, dirt devils spinning off, occasionally mouse farting in the corner. I think you get my point. When I say a ghost town, I mean more times than not, the second you capture the target, the enemies would stop spawning, disappear, and the entire map would become a ghost town. So that's when players found that if you just leave the cap target on the ground, enemies would continue to spawn. And you can continue farming the Oxium. So what is this patch and how is it going to change this? Well, what this patch is going to do, as I said, this patch has already hit PC and it is coming for us on console, guys. Console's about, give or take, about 3 to 4 weeks out from PC. So it's not a question of if, but when this patch is going to hit us. And this is why I stressed before and I stress now, if you need Oxium, get it now. Because once this patch hits us, you're going to be back to tirelessly grinding away for measly, tiny sums of Oxium for hours on end. So what is this patch and what does it do? Okay, so this patch is going to basically, as soon as you down the capture target, you're going to have 30 seconds. After that 30 seconds expires, you're going to get hit with a 1 minute bleed out timer. And Lotus will probably pop up on the screen and say something like, oh, Tenno, the capture target must be captured within a set amount of time, blah, 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 blah. But needless to say, after that minute, if you have not captured the target, boom, mission fail. Now, in my opinion, the bigger question that should be asked here is, yo, DE, since you're releasing this patch, are you going to do something crazy like, I don't know, like fix the mission so that enemies continue to spawn, mayhaps? Well, I don't see that in the patch notes, so I think it's pretty doggone safe to assume at this point that no, DE has no intention of actually fixing the mission, and as soon as you capture the target on Galatea, it will become a ghost town. So that's the reasons for farming Galatea, and that's the way to go about it, and this is what this patch is going to do. As I said before, I'll mention it now, PC's already been hit with this patch. So it's coming for us like a big Mack truck coming to eat our lunch. This patch is coming. So what's my opinion on this patch? Well, you know, honestly, this is kind of the definition of DE. Players will ask for literal years, and I'm not even joking, years for certain things to be addressed and fixed and patched and addressed. And DE will say, oh, you want this right here addressed? And then they will wander off in some dark corner and patch some nonsensical stuff that nobody cares about. Nobody's asked for. And that's pretty typical of DE. It's what they've done for as long as I can remember. Now, this isn't me throwing shade at DE. This isn't going to make me stop supporting DE. At the end of the day, they're still just human beings. They make mistakes. Things get overlooked. Dates get pushed back and then forgotten about. And they're overwhelmed. They've got a ton of stuff to do. Their plate is way over full. So I can forgive them for things like this. However, this is one of my qualms with DE, and something that, I hope going forward they will kind of learn from it and address these kinds of things and stop doing these kinds of things. Ultimately, I feel that this patch is a mistake. But it is what it is. And it's not going to make me stop playing Warframe. But I do think that it is a mistake. Now, what's my personal take on the whole Oxium topic? Well, I'm going to lump mutagen samples right in there with Oxium, meaning the mutagen samples in Oxium, whether DE accepts it, they are rare resources. Right in line with argon crystals, right in line with organ cells, right in line with neuroids. They are right there with them, and they are a rare resource. Whether DE accepts it or not, that's a fact. Look, bottom line, if it walks like a rare resource and talks like a rare resource and swims like a rare resource and quacks like a rare resource, I'm going to call it what it is, a rare resource. And that's exactly what mutagen samples and Oxium are. Meaning they drop from a particular enemy from one particular faction in a small, miserly, tiny amount, and you're going to have to farm hours upon hours tirelessly to even get a mediocre amount of these resources. And that is literally the definition of a rare resource. Exactly the same as the others. So whether DE accepts them or not, that's exactly what they are. That's the definition, the very definition of a rare resource, and that's what they are. Now, it's a fairly easy, correction that could be made here. They could reduce the cost of Oxium for Vauban. They could reduce the cost of mutagen samples for the HEMA. They could add more enemies and more factions that drop these resources. These resources can drop in substantially larger amounts. But honestly, I don't really see DE doing any of those things. And I think that you're pretty much stuck with what we have now, agree or disagree. And we can only hope, DE, please, for the love of God, take heed. We can only hope that DE never releases a frame or weapon similar to the requirements of the HEMA or Vauban. We can only hope that they have learned from that, and it's something that they will not repeat. Please, please, DE, don't do it again. But needless to say, guys, I've said it a few times. I'm going to say it again because it bears repeating. If you need Oxium, get it now. I cannot stress this enough. If you're on console, get that Oxium now. Hit up Galatea. It won't take you long to rack up a fair amount of Oxium, but if you need it, you better get it now, because once this patch hits, you're back to tirelessly grinding away for miserly sums of Oxium. So, anyway, until next time, my Tenno, peace and grace.